the home screen where we land on after logging in, but also develop the products screen. What we've done so far is to create a login form and a sign up page. So you're able to sign up, the data goes to the database. When you come back, you're able to log in. And after you log in, the only thing we see is the message that prints on the log that says success. Beyond that, we have not developed the application. Our last class or video, we went to the backend and we finished developing the database. I hope you can see this login success here. So let's pick from here and develop home screen where you go to after logging in, and on the same home page we are going to have a navigation bottom navigation bar. So let's create that screen inside views. Right click, then pick a dart file, call it home. New dart file, home. It's a stateless widget. Just write stless. Okay, use tab to select that, then call it home. This actually will be our landing page, not landing after login, where the rest of the other parts of the applications will be accessed from. So let's import material here so that this clears. Import material that or just clear it, whatever suggestion you get. Let's change this to scaffold. Scaffold. The computer is not suggesting as fast. Okay. Scaffold widget. Then again, we will go to roots and add this as the starting point. So immediately we are done with this, we go to the root and then define a new root to home as the starting point of our application. Okay, let me define that as I wait for define a new root here. Okay, so now we have login. It's just one of the roots. Sorry, the starting point is the login. So now here we can define home. Home. Scaffold. Okay. We don't necessarily need to have um, an up bar here, so we will just go directly to body. We'll leave this for now. We'll come back to this, but we also need bottom navigation bar, and that's what I want us to add. We can use the inbuilt bottom navigation bar, but I wanted us to use this one here inside pub.dev, then look for curved labeled navigation bar. Just search that. Let's copy this pub name, then go to pubspec.yaml file, add it right there so that we can use that one. Okay, pubspec YAML file, that's where we want to copy this package so that we can use it. Okay, so just make sure it aligns with Flutter on the same line. So I'll just put it below this, paste it, and then use this icon, pub get, so that that package is downloaded. Be sure that that is added into your project and that there is no error when getting the dependency. Right, since everything looks okay, I'll go to um, the package documentation so that we see how to add it. We've done this, add the dependency, and then it says easy to use where we have bottom navigation bar. Just look for curved navigation bar and then add in the items. So let's go there. So we are inside home. Right here, we want to use curved. If it doesn't suggest that, yes, curved navigation bar. We have it here. And then we can add the rest of the items that we need here. Let me import this first. Says it requires item. So we want to add items. And that's the compulsory attribute that we need here. So let's add in the items here. Come back to the home property. For now, maybe just so that the error clears, we can have a container here, an empty one. Okay, so all the items that we need will come in here. Since it's on the navigation bar at the bottom, we can just add icons. Icon and then label, we don't necessarily need that. So we need to create a list of items here. The first one can be home, and then we continue with the others. So curved navigation bar item is a type of item that we want to create here, and we're going to create several of them. Curved navigation bar item. This we will use icon, and we will place icons dot icons dot. We want to pick one of the icons that we can use in this project. We just want to use 4 icons. One is for the dashboard where we present some data. The next one is for the products that we are selling. Then the next one is for orders that we've made in the past or a client has made in the past. And then we have profile. So let me use home. You will need to go to, if you do not know these icons, you can go to material icons and you'll be able to find some icons there. So that's done. I'll go to the next one. Need 4 of them. I'll just copy this 4 times and start editing. This is profile. The last one, I think it's called person. So it's just knowing the names of these icons. So we have person, then we have orders. I just look for history, get, and then for products, not so sure which one to use here. Do we have categories? Good. I think category will do for products. So that's what I have. And then we can leave this for now. So now let's do this. When we get into, after we log in successfully, we want to navigate to this home screen. It doesn't have anything to display for now. So for now, we can just have child here. And this can be text that says home screen. We'll come back and edit this. Now let's go to the login screen. After we log in here, instead of just printing success, we want to navigate to the home page. So get dot. We shouldn't be able to come to use the back icon back to the login screen. So I will use to off and named, to off and to named. Then the route that I want to navigate to is this route here, home. So I'll just copy this, make sure there's a match in spellings and everything. That should take us to our new landing page. So now I will refresh this and see whether it gets me to the login screen. So let me reload this and try to log in afresh and see whether I'll go to the landing or the home page. I have some errors on the route. Okay, I need to import this. Import home. Good. Done. Let's go back here. Let's hot reload this. Let me restart this. See whether we will now go to the home screen when we log in. So as we wait for this to load, this is what we want to achieve today. We have our database here. You remember in the database we created the table for products and we created some images which we want to use for our product images. So this is what we want to bring right into the application in the products tab. First, let's try logging in. Okay. Remember the phone number that we used and the password that you use. I think the password is 1245. 1245. Then use my phone number 215893325. Okay, let's see what happens here when we log in. Click on this and it takes us to home and we can see the bottom navigation bar that we added. Let's style it further. Okay, right here we have different types of colors here. If you cannot remember, just type color and try changing these colors. Color, that must be the entire color of the bottom navigation bar. So I just use colors dot blue. A better way would be to have a file where all your colors are stored. Okay, so blue, that is the blue I'm looking for. And then the icons themselves, so that's also a color. Background, that's the button color. So button color can be white. Okay, let's refresh. Well, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's look at the other color here. To understand this package, you can just go back to pub.dev. You'll be able to get the details. So colors dot white. I'm trying to differentiate. There are up to three colors here that we want to understand. Okay, now we can change this to blue. Good. Good. And now the icon itself, we can make it white right here. Icon color, we make it colors dot white. This is white. We repeat the same for all the others. Okay. So I'll copy this part and paste the same in all the other icons. So there you go. We have I think that works, that suffices. So this is the dashboard. We will put in some data here, then all the products we are selling on this tab, then the previous orders here, then the profile of the person who is logged in right here. I hope you can see the text that says home screen here. It's here. We want to be able to switch to different screens when this is clicked, but for now we have this static message here. It's really outside the screen, and one of the other things you can do is to wrap this with another widget known as safe area. Let's see whether safe area will push it inside the space that we want to use. You can do that, or you can just adjust the place where this appears. No problem. Now, let's go to designing the different screens. But first of all, how do we change this based on where we are? First, let's create a list here. Var, I'll call it screen list. We assume these are the screens that we want to have or to display in our when we navigate at the bottom navigation bar. I will move this here so that I don't have to add that to the constructor. I will assume the first screen. Let me just use text for now instead of developing a complete screen. This is dashboard. The next screen I want to display is products. Then we have orders. Then we have profile. So I'll just change this to that. Products, orders, and then profile. How do we make this to switch based on what we have selected here? So to do that, we need to first come up with a controller or controller that will manage that. So far, we have inside lib a folder called views. We want to come up with another folder called controllers. In other words, we are implementing MVC, model view controllers. So let's create a folder called controllers. Controllers. Controllers help us to manage state and also implement the business logic really. And there are many other state management or software architectures that you can use or design patterns. So this controller is specific to the home screen. So I'll just call it home controller. It controls what is happening inside the home screen. So class home controller, and we will be using getX. So we first need to get that package. We had already added that to our project, so I can go ahead, extends getX controller right here. Get, this is a class. We need a variable. And what we need to achieve here, allow me to close what we're not currently using here. What we need is a way to track the position of the clicked index here. Which one was clicked? Is it the first item, second item? We need to be able to track that. So I will have a variable here. I'll just call it selected page. Selected page. As we start, I'll set it to 0 and then observe it. Let's provide this is just var selected page selected page OBS, and we need a function that sets the page. If we change the page, then we need to update the value from 0 to the new value. So I'll have another function here called set selected page. Just pass in a variable here, then use it here. So selected page dot value is equals to index. When we change the value of what is currently selected, we want to alert this. Good. How does this particular package get to know what is selected? There is a function or a property here called on tab after the items. So that's what we need to add here. Home, after the items, right here, we add the property called on tab, and this receives index. And using that, we can assign or determine which one has been clicked. A better way to visualize this is to just print the value of index here and see whether it will be changing as we navigate from one to the other. So I will now reload the changes and just start clicking on this when this reloads and see whether the new value is being printed right here. So let's reload these changes. Okay, it has to restart from the main screen. So as I wait for that, okay, it's there. 0721589325. Then this password we used 1245. Our password is invalid. Did we miss something? Yes, there's a repeat here. Login. Good, it's taking us to this page. And what we wanted to prove is that as we move from this, it prints the value. Now it's 1. So the first one here is 0. So this means the on tab property is really picking the right index that we've clicked. If then that is doing that, all we need to do is to determine what to display here based on that index. So first, let's update that index here. When this is clicked, we want to update that index inside selected page property. So go here, let's declare or initialize a home controller object. Home controller is equals get.put home controller. We are doing this so that we are able to access everything that is in the home controller class, which is really our controller. Import get here. Therefore, that's done. We now have an object. Using that object, let's update the value of the selected page. So home controller, dot set selected page. Then we pass this index to it. It will now update which page is selected. Now here, the child here, instead of this hard-coded text, we can pick one of the text here depending on what is clicked here. So I'll just use the array called screen list. And since it's an index, it's a list, the value of the index is what is inside home controller. So home controller dot selected page dot value. What that means is that this will keep changing based on what we've selected. So let's see whether that works. The first one, you can see it's already writing dashboard because that's at the 0th position. And right here we had said the initial value is 0. So look at what happens as we click on this. Dashboard. Oh, it's not changing. There's just one more thing we need to do. When that change happens in the controller class, we need to make sure that this widget receives that change. So we have to wrap this widget with OBX. Look at how we're gonna do that. OBX, then add another parenthesis here just to close that. Now let's try that again. We move to dashboard, move to products, move to orders, move to profile, and you can see this is changing. So that's perfect. Now, what we actually need to do is not to display text widget. It's actually to display an entire UI for that particular logic. That is for the dashboard, for the products, for the previous orders, and for the profile. So let's come up with those screens so that we replace this with actual screens. So right here, I will right click, new, dart, and start with dashboard. Dashboard. This again is a stateless widget. I'll just call it dashboard. Import this so that the errors clear. Instead of placeholder, I can now return a text again. I'll come back to designing this and I can just write dashboard here. We need to do the same for the others. So I'll just copy this. New. The next one is products. Paste that. Change this to products. That means that the constructor also. And in our case, the message we are displaying here, we need another one for the orders. So orders, the same thing. Change this to orders. Change this to orders. Change this to orders. Then lastly, we repeat this. This is now profile. Copy this. Profile. Profile. The constructor also profile. And we are done with this. Now, let's go to the home page here. And now instead of using these widgets, we use those screens that we've just created. The first one is the dashboard because we've just created them. The next one is products. The next one is orders. The last one is profiles. The profile or profiles. No problem. We'll get that shortly. We need to get the exact names. Let's try importing. Okay, let's check the names. Let's check the names. What do we have under dashboard? It's dashboard, it's orders, products, and profile. So let's correct that in here. Profile, orders, products, dashboard. Let's import this. Get Right, we are done with this. Now we actually have actual screens, just that they have no user interface or there are no widgets on them. It's the same thing, just that if we now want to change, we know where to go to. So we are done with that. I want us to populate the products screen today. So let's go to the product screen, this one. Instead of returning a text, let's return a list view. List view. List view. We can use list view.builder. You see that here. List view.builder. It requires a number of things. We don't need the constant for now. It requires a number of things. Item builder. This is what will build the item. Because a list view has many items. This is how we build each of these. So right here, we need to come up with a logic of what to build here. So return. And here we will need to put in the design of each and every item. Here we need index. And maybe if this is complex, we can go back here. Instead of typing that, you can just use control and spacebar and then select this context and index. Let's use that, the same thing. So right here, we are supposed to return the design of every item in our list. Okay. Let's assume that we want to return a column or even a row. Each item in the list represents a row, so we can return a row. What do we want to return? For each row, we want to first have an image. So I will write image. Let's use an icon for now because we don't have the images. Icons dot category, taking time to load. So we want to return the image, and then next to the image, we want to return the name of the product, and the price. Inside row, we needed to have children, and then the rest can come inside children property here. Okay, we can run this first, then go to product, see if anything is happening. Not much. Okay. One of the other properties that is needed inside list view.builder is the number of products. So let's look for that here. It says item count. We can make them 5 for now. We will soon replace this with actual data that we are fetching from the database. Okay, there's what we have here. Okay. I want to set shrink wrap to true. Shrink wrap to true. Then we continue with the design for each and every of these items. Why do we have this? We don't need this. Okay, let me refresh these changes. We continue with the design for each row inside this list view. So first we have an image, which is this one. Next, we want to have the name of the product on top, then below that, some description, then below that, the price. So it looks like we will need to do some work on this array here, on this row here. Okay, so let's do that. I could log in for this to load as we proceed. So we have the images, yeah? The images should appear there. Now, below or after this image here, let's have a column. Column. Why are we using column? So that we can place the item name and on top of the description. So children. Now let's use a simple text here. 13 kg total gas. Then below that, we provide the description, another text. Then right here, we can provide the description. Safe gas, home use, whatever description you want to provide there. We can refresh this, see whether the change is taking effect. Good. Good. Okay. So we have the image, the product name, the description. Let's align the contents of the column here. You can see one is starting after the other one. So alignment, and this is, since this is a column, this is cross-axis alignment. Where are we defining that? Right here. Cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment, we set it to start. Good. Now we need some space between this image and this column. So in here, we put in some space. So space. Okay, we use sized box. And this is on the width. So width of around 5. There is some space. Good. Now let's make this look better. First, let's increase the size of this row. How do we increase the size of the row? First, we can increase the size of the item here. So size, can set it to 20. We will soon replace this with an actual image. As is, it is 20, so it's still too small. Let's try 50. Okay, fair enough. And then we can increase the size of this font here. So style, text style, font size. This can be a little larger. And then the font weight, maybe this. Okay, let's look at how that looks like. Okay, this is too big. Can set it to 17. And maybe the other one we can set it to this one can be 13 or 12 with normal font weight here. Let's look at that. Well, that is too small. 15. Fair enough. Now, this is what we are selling, and we can go ahead and indicate the price somewhere. The price would look good if we don't put it below here, but on the side here. So let's do that. If it is on the side, then we are outside this column. We can start another, or we can have another text here which has price, just here. For now, we can just write Kenya shillings 3,000. We'll come back and replace all this with actual values once we read the data from the server. Let's push this to the extreme end. Look at how I will do that. If you use spacer, it will just add in some space. But if we use size box, it will just push it to some distance. But if you use spacer, it pushes it to the extreme end. I think this widget we've not used before. There you go. And maybe we need another button that says order if we don't want to have to click this to order. For now, let's have it as is, and then we'll come back. Maybe we can change this color, the style here. Color, colors dot blue. I want to use the same color for the price. So now the question is, how do we get the actual products that are in our database here displayed here? That's what we need to do now. So let's go to, we could stop this video at this point and then pick from there in the next video so that we now replace this with actual products.